"I don't have to explain," she says, and there's a moment when my lungs forget how to breathe. Her voice is low but firm. I'm in the kitchen, hand clamped around a coffee mug, feeling the ceramic edge biting into my palm. There's a hiss of the faucet dripping somewhere, and I'm aware of the faint smell of burnt toast, something left too long in the toaster. I can't move. I can't think clearly. My wife, Sarah, stands at the threshold between the living room and the hall. She keeps her eyes level, her chin up in that defiant way I used to find so attractive. I swallow, trying to find my own words, but nothing emerges, only a tightness in my throat. My heart is pounding so hard it's like I'm listening to someone else's pulse in a hollow corridor. She repeats, quieter but harsher, "Aya ni obiazana albaznit." I've never heard her speak Russian before. I'm not even sure she knows the language, or maybe she's quoting something. I don't ask. I just stare at the lines of tension in her neck. She's braver than I realized. Did she rehearse that phrase? Does it matter? The point is made. She doesn't owe me an explanation. Sometimes you expect an argument to begin with raised voices or a slammed door. But all I feel is a clamp on my chest, as if the air has turned solid. I suspect it started earlier, much earlier, and this is just the aftershock. I say nothing. Instead, I drift to the living room, letting the coffee mug slip from my grip onto the counter. I don't even check if it lands upright or spills across the table. The silence that follows feels bigger than the room. I can't stop replaying the memory of the bar, where it all exploded in my mind. I saw them. That was only a week ago, but it's as if it happened yesterday or maybe an hour ago. Time's not linear anymore. My days bleed into nights, and the only consistent sound in my head is a dull roar of betrayal. It was late. I had gone to that bar to clear my head after a fight we had about something trivial. Chinese takeout, I think. Our arguments used to be about nonsense, but they always left me with the sense that bigger things were at stake, waiting to crack open. That night, I sat alone at a small table. The neon sign flickered overhead, painting the amber glow of the bottles behind the bar in garish colors. The place was half empty. I was stirring a cheap whiskey with my index finger, lost in my own gloom, when suddenly the door opened and in walked Sarah. At first, I thought I was hallucinating. She never goes out this late, especially not to this kind of dive. She paused at the entrance, scanned the crowd. I ducked, ridiculous as it was, my heart jammed in my throat. That's when I saw him. A tall figure, purposeful stride, a confidence that made people shift aside as he moved. He entered right behind her, placed a casual hand on the small of her back. Something about that gesture cut me deeper than any fistfight ever could. That easy familiarity with her body, the way he claimed her in that single touch. I froze. I should have left. I should have confronted them. I should have done a million things. Instead, I just watched. They sat in a booth in the corner, angled so they could see the bar. She didn't notice me. Maybe she wasn't looking for me at all. Their conversation started quietly, but I caught glimpses, her leaning in, him smiling with that half-smirk that rich guys or confident men have, a slight brush of her knee against his. I saw her lips part into a smile I had forgotten she was capable of. Her laughter rang out like a memory from years ago, like how she used to laugh when we were first married, carefree and bright. Seeing that same light in her eyes, only now it was for him, twisted the knife in me. He reached over, tucked a loose strand of her hair behind her ear. She let him, eyes closing momentarily as if savoring his touch. Right there, in that bar, with me no more than 10 feet away. I realized it wasn't an accident. If it were, maybe they would sit in a darker corner or keep a polite distance. But no, they were comfortable, open. She didn't care who saw, or maybe she wanted to be seen. That was all the proof I needed. You can't fake that kind of ease with someone. You can't pretend the intimacy that radiated from them like a silent gravitational pull. I knew it then. I had lost her. I left before they could notice me. My heart hammered in my ears all the way back home. She came back hours later, quietly, slipping into bed like a thief. The mattress dipped under her weight, but I feigned sleep. I felt her warmth next to me, yet it felt foreign, as though a stranger had crawled under my covers. Back in the kitchen now, I see that memory in every line of her face. That night stands between us. I want to ask 100 questions, but what's the point? She's given her answer in that single line of Russian, and in the 1,000 silent gestures that led to this moment. She's already turned away, heading down the hall toward the bedroom. I follow her, ignoring the protest in my chest. The house is too quiet. No air conditioner hum, no ticking clock. It's like the entire building is holding its breath, waiting to see what I'll do. She stops, stands by the wall where we keep old pictures in mismatched frames. There's a photograph of our wedding, me in a suit that wasn't quite my size, her in a white dress that shimmered in the June sunlight. We look young. I guess we were. I see her gaze flick toward that photo, then away again, almost guilty. Or maybe just indifferent. She says, "I'm tired. I'm going to bed." Her voice is still that mixture of exhaustion and defiance. I feel my own exhaustion churning into something else, something old and primal. My father used to say real men don't cry. Maybe he was right, because right now, tears are the farthest thing from my mind. I want to break something, but I don't. I just stand there while she disappears into the bedroom, the door left slightly ajar, not even fully closed. It's a dismissal, nothing more. That night, I lie beside her. She's asleep, or at least pretending to be. I can't see her face. She's turned away, her hair fanned across the pillow. The sheets feel cold against my skin, though the air is stuffy. My thoughts churn, pieces of a puzzle I never wanted to solve. I stare at the ceiling, counting the faint lines of the plaster. Then I hear it. Soft, murmured in her sleep. Alex. A name. His name. My chest tightens like a vice. For a second, I stop breathing. I wait, half expecting to hear more. But she goes silent. The faint rhythmic sound of her breath returns, unbroken, as if nothing happened. In that moment, I understand how truly gone she is. It's like there's a wall between us that I can't penetrate. Her mind, her desires, they're somewhere else. With him, I don't rage. I don't strike her. I just get up, slip out of bed, and walk blindly to the bathroom. The mirror above the sink flickers with dull fluorescent light. My reflection is ashen, hollowed out. I see a man who doesn't know himself anymore. On the countertop, I spot her lipstick, an expensive brand she only started buying recently, a bright, deep red shade. She used to wear softer colors for me, or no lipstick at all, content with natural shades. Now it's this bold color I've never seen on her before. Maybe it's for him. I twist the lipstick open, look at that red bullet. I don't know what I'm doing, only that I need to do something. In one abrupt motion, I scrawl across the bathroom mirror, words I half formulate in my head. You can keep silent if you want. I no longer can. The letters come out jagged and shaky. My hand trembles. The reflection splits around the words, distorting my face behind them. I think of the irony. I'm writing this message not to her, but to myself. A final admission that I'm at the edge. When I finish, I step back. The mirror is a mess. Red smears, desperate scribbles. The air in the bathroom feels suffocating. I open the door, slip back into the bedroom. She hasn't stirred. A few days pass in a haze. We exchange minimal words, a short greeting in the morning, a stunted question about groceries. She no longer meets my eyes. I bury myself in work at the editorial office, staying as late as I can. But every time I close my eyes, I see them in that bar, and it cuts me all over again. I wonder if she's still seeing him, if they're meeting in hotels or quiet corners of the city. A part of me doesn't even want to know. Another part of me screams for me to do something, confront him, or her, or both, and demand an explanation. But I feel numb. I'm hollowed out by the betrayal, like my emotional center has burned away, leaving only a cold shell. That coldness both terrifies and comforts me. If I can't feel the fullness of my rage, maybe I won't unravel. One evening, I come home, and Sarah's nowhere to be found. Her shoes are missing. The living room lights are off. I toss my keys on the coffee table, noticing how the table is bare except for a single cup with stale coffee. It's hers. I can tell by the faint lipstick stain on the rim. That same bold red. I step into the bedroom. My eyes catch a small detail on her nightstand. She's left her wedding ring there. Not hidden, not tucked into a drawer, but right on top of an old hardcover novel. The ring gleams under the bedside lamp. So that's how it is. She doesn't wear it anymore. I feel a surge of something, maybe anger or heartbreak, or that final acceptance that you get when your illusions dissolve. I pick it up, weigh it in my palm. A simple gold band, engraved with the date of our wedding. For a moment, I recall how happy she looked that day, how her eyes shone with tears of joy. I can't reconcile that memory with the woman I now see at night. Distant, disconnected, gone. I carry the ring out to the living room, as if drawn by a magnet. My eyes slide over to the fireplace. We almost never use it, but the evening is cold, and the entire house feels drained of warmth. A flicker of an idea I don't fully trust creeps into my mind. I set the ring on the mantel, gather some kindling, and strike a match. The fire catches slowly, crackling around the edges. I think about the times we sat here together, sipping hot chocolate on winter nights, or the rare holiday parties we used to host. Now there's only me, hunched before the hearth, the ring reflecting dancing flames. There's no dramatic impulse, no savage roar of revenge. Just a hollow clarity. I pick up the ring, feel its metal warming against my fingers, and drop it into the fire. The flames lick around the band, turning it from gold to a dull orange. I wait for the meltdown, for my conscience to scream at me. But there's only quiet acceptance. She left it out in the open. I made a choice. When she returns, it's past midnight. She doesn't notice the dying embers in the fireplace, or the faint smell of smoke in the air. She heads straight to the bedroom, not even checking if I'm awake. I remain on the couch, my eyes half open, pretending to be asleep. I imagine tomorrow morning she might look for her ring, wonder where it went. Maybe she won't even care. Maybe she'll just shrug. Days slip by. Tension and invisible fog in every room. Neither of us addresses it. We live like strangers with a secret that's no longer secret at all. My mind whirls with thoughts. Should I walk away? Should I confront her with evidence? Should I demand she end it with Alex? One evening, the phone rings. I pick it up absent-mindedly. A man's voice. Is Sarah there? He asks. I know that voice from the bar. I feel my pulse quicken. Who's this? I manage, though I already know. A pause on the other end. Then a dismissive chuckle. This is Alex. May I speak to her? His tone is so calm, so certain of his place. There's a subtle challenge in it, as though he's daring me to say no or to make a scene. I swallow the bitterness. She's not home. Tell her to call me back. He hangs up. No apology, no polite sign-off. Just total confidence that I'll pass on his message. And maybe I will, or maybe I won't. But the line is dead before I can decide. I want to slam the phone against the wall. Instead, I set it down gently. My entire body feels cold, trembling, but not from fear. More from the sheer disbelief that this is my life now. 2 nights later, she announces she's going out with friends. The way she says it, carefully avoiding my gaze, I know she's lying. Maybe it's him. Maybe they have reservations somewhere nice. She's wearing a dress I've never seen before. A sleek black number that flatters her figure in a way that makes my stomach twist. She lingers by the door. For a split second, our eyes meet. Neither of us speaks. Then she's gone. I wander around the house, restless. The silence presses in. I open the fridge, close it again, flip through the TV channels, but every show seems hollow. Finally, I grab my jacket and head outside, driving aimlessly through the city. My thoughts drift to the day I first met Sarah. Back then, she had a gentleness, a spark of curiosity for life. We laughed easily. Our wedding day felt like a promise we both believed in. Now that memory tastes like metal in my mouth. It's a small city suburb, so it doesn't take me long to find myself near that bar again. The same neon sign flickers, painting the sidewalk in stripes of yellow and red. A wave of dread washes over me. I don't want to see them together again, but a part of me can't resist. I park near the curb, walk to the bar's entrance. Inside, it's the same stale smell of beer and disinfectant. My eyes adjust to the dim light, scanning the booths. They're not there. A strange mix of relief and disappointment hits me. So she's not meeting him here, maybe somewhere fancier, or in a hotel room. I grab a seat at the bar, order a whiskey neat. The bartender eyes me briefly, probably thinking I'm just another guy with a broken heart. He's not wrong. Hours pass in a blur. I lose track of the number of drinks. At some point, I sense my phone buzzing in my pocket. I fish it out. A text from her. Coming home late. Don't wait up. I let out a slow breath, toss the phone onto the bar. That's it, I think. That's the sum of my marriage now. A casual text that I should go to bed alone. I glance at the clock. Near closing time. The bartender is wiping glasses. Time to go. I stumble to my car, my head pounding. I shouldn't drive, but I do anyway. The roads are slick with an earlier rain, the streetlights reflecting off puddles like oil slicks. My mind is a cacophony of anger, sorrow, and something I can't name. A sense of finality, a longing for closure, or an act that ends this indefinite torture. I make it home without incident. The house is dark, except for a single lamp in the living room. She's not back yet. The silence is suffocating. By the time she returns, it's almost 3 a.m. I'm on the couch, my head buried in my hands, trying to ward off the whiskey headache. She slips off her heels at the door, then realizes I'm awake. We lock eyes, a silent confrontation across the shadowy room. She's still wearing that dress. There's a faint swirl of perfume around her. A brand new scent she never wore for me. Had a good night? I ask, my voice hoarse. She doesn't answer. Or maybe she can't. I see a flicker of regret in her eyes, or maybe that's just my imagination. I get up, crossing the room slowly, halting a few steps from her. The tension is razor sharp. I can almost hear both our hearts beating. Is it serious? I ask, the words tasting bitter. She closes her eyes briefly, as if pained by the question. Then she opens them, looks away. I don't know. That does something to me. Her lack of denial, her unwillingness to reassure me with a lie. It's as if she's given up on pretending. I love you, I say quietly. For years, I've tried to be everything. She flinches. Don't do this now. I'm exhausted. I want to scream. Instead, I let out a shaky breath, and I'm exhausted too. Fine. I say, we'll talk later, but we both know we won't. I remember a random day, years ago, on a trip to the country. We had gone apple picking. It was a simple, silly day, but we laughed ourselves breathless at some inside joke. In that orchard, with the sun filtering through the leaves, her smile was the only thing that mattered. Now that memory hurts worse than her betrayal, because it reminds me of what we lost, of what I thought was ours forever. The next afternoon, I wake up to find her rummaging in the closet, half-dressed, a suitcase lying open on the bed. My gut tightens. You're leaving? I ask, leaning against the doorframe. She doesn't turn around. I have a trip. For work. It sounds rehearsed. I cross my arms, trying to keep my voice steady. Alex, is he going with you? Her back stiffens. She shoves a few blouses into the suitcase. It's a work trip, Richard. I don't need to explain anything else. That word again. Explain. That sense of finality. My eyes roam to the ring that used to sit on her nightstand. But it's gone. She must have noticed it missing. Has she realized I destroyed it? Maybe she believes she simply misplaced it. She hasn't asked. The ring is just out of the picture, like the rest of us. She zips her suitcase, then finally turns to face me. I'll be gone for a few days, she says. Please, don't make a scene. She walks out, leaving me in that stale bedroom. The air smells of her perfume, no longer the gentle floral I remember, but something stronger, more assertive, the presence of a new version of her that I can't understand. That evening, I'm alone in the house again. I wander through the rooms, noticing how many little items she's taken. A hairbrush here, a spare phone charger there. It feels like she's stripping away the life we shared, one small possession at a time. I sit on the edge of the bed, staring at my reflection in the mirror across from me. The words I wrote that night with her lipstick are gone, wiped clean. She must have scrubbed them off the glass, erasing my desperate confession. I realize I can't keep living in limbo. Either I fight for what's left of us, or I do something else, something irreversible. It's 10 p.m. when I finally step out of the house, heading to my car. Without really thinking, I drive to the city. My chest tightens as I navigate the streets. There's a building near downtown, a sleek, modern tower that houses several consulting firms. I know Alex works in one of them, though I'm not certain which floor. I park half a block away, kill the engine. For a moment, I just stare at the building's illuminated windows. Is he there now, finishing some late project, or is he with her already? Maybe they're together in a plush hotel suite. My stomach churns. I'm not sure what I plan to do. Demand a confrontation, an apology, an explanation. But the rage inside me simmers, overshadowed by a hollow ache. Being replaced. That's what kills me. Almost an hour passes before I realize how crazy this is. I start the car again and drive aimlessly through the city. Rain begins to fall, a cold drizzle. Streetlights blur in the windshield. My phone buzzes on the passenger seat, an email notification or some trivial text. Not from her. I know that much. Eventually, I find myself outside a small coffee shop that's still open, some 24-hour joint. I go in, order a black coffee, no sugar. The heat of the cup against my palms is the only warmth I feel right now. I think of my father, how he told me that if a woman disrespects you, you walk away. I hated how simple he made it sound. Love isn't simple. Marriage isn't a contract you can tear up when you get bored. But maybe I've reached a point where walking away is the only dignity left. The next day, I get a call from an unknown number. I answer hesitantly, and a low voice greets me. Hey, it's Alex. I straighten in my seat. How did you get my number? He exhales, like he's already annoyed. Sarah gave it to me a while back, for some reason. Look, I think we should talk. My pulse thuds, and a cold sweat dots my brow. What the hell is there to talk about? About Sarah, he says, calm, composed, like this is a business negotiation, and about how we can resolve this situation. I blink. My vision narrows. Resolve? You think this is some business deal? Listen, he says, tone steady. I don't want things to get messy. Messy, I repeat, my voice shaking with anger. You're sleeping with my wife, and you're worried about messy. A long pause. I care about her, he finally says. I let out a bitter laugh. You have a funny way of showing respect, buddy. He sighs. We're not enemies, Richard. We're two men who care about the same woman. I thought maybe we could talk this out. That's when something snaps inside me. You think I want your pity. You think I want to share notes on how to keep her happy. He's silent for a beat. All right, he says softly. I tried. He hangs up. I toss my phone across the room. It lands on the couch, bouncing harmlessly onto the floor. My heart is racing. I wonder if he's doing this to provoke me, or if he genuinely believes in some civilized solution. That evening, a quiet fury burns in my chest. I can't decide whether to go find him and knock out that smug confidence from his face, or to vanish and cut Sarah out of my life altogether. My rational mind says violence won't fix anything, but deep down, a part of me screams for retribution. After pacing the living room, I settle on a strange calm. I walk to the bathroom, rummage around in the cabinet until I find a different lipstick of hers, a subtler pink shade I remember buying for her birthday 2 years ago. She hasn't used it in months, ever since she found that bold red that obviously suits her new style better. I take out a small piece of paper, place it on the sink, and write in trembling lines, "I'm done pretending. I'm done swallowing my words." It feels symbolic, like I'm finishing what I started with the mirror. Then I fold the note and slip it into my pocket, though I'm not sure why. Something about the act of writing those words releases a measure of tension in me. She returns from her work trip a day later. I'm home when she walks in, dragging a small suitcase. She looks tired. There's a smudge in her eyeliner, like she wiped at her eyes on the drive. We stand there in the hallway, neither speaking. My mind flickers to the ring I burned, the phone call from Alex. So many secrets have filled this house. Then, in a rare moment of honesty, she says, "I've been at a hotel with him." My breath catches. She rubbed her arms as if chilled, even though the heater's on. "It's not some fling, Richard." I exhale. "So you love him?" She closes her eyes. I don't know if I believe in love the same way anymore. But I can't stop. It's such a bare, painful admission that for a second, I just stand there in silence. Then I let out a shaky breath. "Why are you telling me this now?" She looks at me, eyes damp. "Because I'm sick of lying." Part of me wants to scream, to call her every name in the book. But I see the brokenness in her face, the same emptiness I feel in my own chest. This was never about a big plan to hurt me. Something in her life broke, and she latched onto him as a lifeline. That doesn't excuse it, but it explains. In the silence, I walk past her, to the bedroom. She follows, but keeps her distance, as though I might strike her. I never have. I never would. I open the closet, pull down an old duffel bag. "So, that's it," I mutter. "You're going to him, or what?" She says nothing, her silence the loudest answer I've ever heard. I stare at the duffel bag in my hands. "I'm not giving you the satisfaction of ending this on your terms." She frowns, confused. I sling the duffel bag over my shoulder. "I'll go," I say. "I'll stay somewhere else. You can have the house for now. Do whatever. I can't watch this anymore." That's not entirely true. I'm not even sure where I'll stay. A motel, maybe. But I have to leave before I do something I regret. She presses her lips tight. A tear slips down her cheek, but she doesn't make a move to stop me. That hurts more than anything else. I drive for hours, ending up in a cheap motel on the edge of the city. The walls are thin, the neon sign outside blinking incessantly. I toss my duffel on the bed, sit at the rickety table, stare at the peeling wallpaper. My phone buzzes, no messages, just some spam. I get up, pace the small space, trying to figure out what I'm doing with my life. My job, my marriage, everything feels like it's dissolving in front of me. Around midnight, I open my duffel to find a shirt, and the folded note falls out. The one I wrote in pink lipstick. "I'm done pretending. I'm done swallowing my words." I reread it in the dim motel lamp. Then I do something impulsive. I dial Alex's number, which I got from the call log on my phone. He picks up on the second ring. "Richard." He sounds surprised. I grip the phone like a lifeline. "Meet me." "Now." He hesitates. "Where?" I give him the address of a diner near my motel. He sighs but agrees. Probably curiosity, maybe guilt. 20 minutes later, we sit across from each other in a sticky vinyl booth. The diner is nearly empty except for a waitress refilling the salt shakers and a bored cook behind the counter. He's wearing a crisp shirt, unbuttoned at the collar, a hint of cologne that probably cost more than my entire wardrobe. I stare at him, wondering what Sarah sees in him that she no longer sees in me. Confidence, maybe, or that restless energy of a man who wants more from life. He clears his throat. I didn't expect you to call. I fold my hands on the table to keep them from shaking. I'm not here for a polite conversation. I just need to look you in the eye. And I don't know. He nods slowly. I get it. So talk. I'm listening. I feel the bitter taste of coffee on my tongue, though I haven't sipped any. You're the reason she's destroyed everything we had, I say, my voice low. He meets my gaze without flinching. She made a choice. This wasn't some scheme of mine. We met at a work function, then we connected. I grit my teeth. Connected. Right. He sighs. It's not that I wanted to hurt you, but if I'm honest, I didn't much care about you either. I only cared about her. The bluntness stings. I fight the urge to punch him in the jaw. Instead, I let out a shaky breath. What do you plan to do, Alex? Marry her? Buy a house? Play the domestic game? Because let me tell you, it's not all cocktails and stolen kisses. Real marriage is in the quiet moments, the messy arguments about grocery bills, the nights you sit together watching some stupid show just to be near each other. He looks away, silent for a moment. I don't know, he admits. I'm not trying to be your enemy, but I can't walk away from her. Because you love her. The word tastes foul. He shrugs. Maybe. She told me she can't go back to how things were with you. A flicker of something passes through me. Sadness, anger, resignation. So that's it. He spreads his hands. If you want to fight me, do it. If you want to hate me, I understand. But she's made her choice. I close my eyes. My mind conjures that image in the bar. Her laughter. The way she leaned into him. The conversation is suffocating. Pushing up from the booth, I toss a few bills on the table for the coffee neither of us touched. We're done here. He stands too, tension bristling. All right. We walk outside. The air is cold, the sky a dull gray with streaks of pink from distant city lights. He starts to say something else, but I ignore him, heading straight to my car. Before I get in, I turn. This is all on you now. If you break her heart, I swear, you'll regret it. He just nods, expression unreadable. Then he walks away, gets into his sleek black sit-in, and peels off. I return to the motel. My mind is blank, or maybe it's too full to process. I sleep fitfully, dreaming of the orchard, of Sarah picking apples and tossing them into a basket, her laughter echoing between the rows of trees. Then the dream shifts, and she's walking away from me. That basket toppling over, apples rolling into the dirt. I can't move, can't call her name. By morning, I'm drenched in sweat. The neon motel sign is still blinking outside, mocking me. I stay in that motel for 3 days, barely eating. I call in sick to work. My boss is concerned, but I don't have the energy to explain. On the 3rd day, my phone rings. It's Sarah. I stare at the screen, uncertain, then answer. Her voice is small. Richard, I just got home from the store. I wait, heart pounding. She sounds shaken. She continues. The fireplace. Was there a ring in there? I close my eyes. So she finally noticed. It was yours. I say, voice hollow. She exhales shakily. I imagine her kneeling by the fireplace, sifting through ashes. Why? Because you left it out. Because you don't wear it. Because I couldn't stand looking at it anymore. I answer, each sentence clipped. Silence. Then a faint sob. I'm sorry, she whispers. I could cling to that apology, but I'm not sure what it's worth anymore. Sarah, it's done. Everything we had is gone. She doesn't deny it. After a moment, she asks, where are you? Motel on the east side. Come home, she says, almost a plea. I laugh bitterly. Home. That's not home anymore. That's just walls and a roof. She's quiet for a long time. Then, in a trembling voice, she says, I never wanted it to end like this. I rub my forehead. Neither did I. But here we are. Another silence. Finally, she musters, I'm leaving for a while, staying at my sister's place in Seattle. I need space to think. Maybe we both do. Fine, I whisper, my throat tight. She hangs up without saying goodbye. That evening, I drive back to the house. It's the first time I've returned since the night I left with my duffel bag. The key still works, though I half expected the locks to be changed. The place feels abandoned, gloom seeping from every corner. A few cardboard boxes rest by the door, some of her clothes tossed in haphazardly. She must have been packing for Seattle. I walk into the bedroom, see the bed stripped of her pillows. The closet door stands open, her side half empty. In the bathroom, her usual cluster of lotions and makeup is mostly gone. Only a stray hairpin on the sink. In the quiet, I can almost hear echoes of arguments, confessions, the final phone call. The emptiness is overwhelming. I open the kitchen drawers, rummaging for something I can't name. Maybe a piece of normalcy. Then I spot the lipstick that started it all. The bold red one she left behind, rolling in the back of a drawer. I pick it up, weigh it in my hand. She must have forgotten it. I walk to the same bathroom mirror where I once scrawled that frantic message. Now it's spotless, reflecting nothing but my own drawn face. Slowly, I uncap the lipstick, press it to the glass. But no words come. I just draw a thick red line across the reflection. A slash. Maybe that's all there is to say. I find myself in the living room, sitting on the couch. My phone buzzes. A text from Alex. I heard she's going away for a bit. I'm sorry for everything. I let out a mirthless chuckle. I'm sorry for everything. Right. Maybe in his mind, that's enough. I toss the phone aside. My gaze drifts to the fireplace. The ashes are cold now. Her ring is melted into some unrecognizable shape among the charred wood. I wonder if it's still hot to the touch, if it's burned itself into the remains of my life. Exhaling, I sink back into the cushions, letting the silence envelop me. I realize that the anger is spent. There's a new emptiness in its place, a quiet acceptance that I can't outrun. Some days later, I wake at dawn, an unfamiliar calm settling over me. The house is silent, and for once, it doesn't suffocate me. It just... A place where I once lived a life with her. A place that belongs to me, now that she's gone. I run a hand through my hair, remembering my father's old advice. When a woman loses respect for you, you move on. He made it sound so simple, but I realize something else. I've been dragging around the weight of heartbreak, betrayal, shame. I've blamed her, I've blamed him, I've blamed myself. And maybe it's all of our faults. Or maybe it just happened, like a slow poison that we never realized was taking hold. There's no neat bow to tie on the story of us. She's with him, or maybe she's on her own path, questioning everything. I'm standing here, unsure of my next step. But I'm alive, and that counts for something. I walk through the rooms, opening the curtains to let in the morning light. Dust motes drift lazily in the air. I think about what I'll do next. Maybe talk to a lawyer, figure out the legal end of this. Maybe I'll sell the house. Maybe I'll travel somewhere far away, reacquaint myself with who I used to be before I define myself by marriage. In the kitchen, I see the coffee mug I left days ago. The coffee inside is a dark stain at the bottom, a reminder of how time passes even when you stand still. I dump it in the sink, rinse it out. For the first time in weeks, I feel something akin to relief. It's faint, like a small flame, but it's there. A sense that the worst is over, that the storm has passed, leaving me battered but alive. In the stillness, I recall her voice in the night, murmuring his name. That memory stings, but it doesn't cut me as sharply anymore. Maybe that's how healing begins, a slight dulling of the razor's edge. I walk to the front door and step outside. The sun is just creeping over the rooftops, painting the sky in pale oranges and pinks. The air is crisp, carrying a promise of a new day. I stand there, letting the quiet fill me, letting my lungs expand with cold morning air. My mind drifts to that orchard from years ago. The scattered apples, our laughter. That's gone. And so is this marriage. But here I am, still breathing. I realize I don't hate her. I can't. She was once everything to me. And you don't just unwrite that. But I can't be with her anymore. We've crossed a threshold. Somewhere in the distance, I hear a train whistle. It's a lonely sound, but also a call forward. A part of me imagines packing a suitcase, boarding a train, chasing a horizon I haven't seen yet. The day lies ahead, and for the first time in a while, I don't feel paralyzed. There's a strange power in emptiness, knowing you have space to fill. I glance back at the house, half expecting to see her silhouette at the window. But the windows remain empty. She's gone. I step off the porch, a slow exhalation in my chest, and walk toward my car, my footsteps echoing in the hush of dawn. My pulse quickens, not from fear this time, but from something else. Anticipation, maybe. Freedom, even if it's laced with pain. The door of my car creaks as I open it. I settle into the driver's seat, take one last look at the house behind me. For a second, I see us there, two young kids in love, painting the walls, dreaming about forever. Then that image dissolves, replaced by reality. Boarded-up illusions, burned rings, broken vows. I turn the key in the ignition. The engine rumbles, a reassuring sound. The sense of finality wraps around me like a blanket, and for once, it doesn't scare me. I pull away from the curb. There's no guarantee about what comes next. But as I drive down that familiar street, the early morning light in my eyes, I feel a stirring in my chest. A quiet, steady heartbeat. Mine. Still mine. And that's enough for now. I press the gas. The car glides forward, leaving the old house and all its ghosts behind. There's a road ahead, and I have time to figure out where I'm going, and who I'll become without her. A slow, measured breath. Then, nothing but the hum of the tires on asphalt as I continue on, the city waking around me, and the dawn stretching out with silent promise.